Hi everybody, my name is Jan Dufour and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live just outside of Louisville, Kentucky. Today we're going to make this card actually with a little bit of a different, I didn't use the garden green on the sample I'm going to be making with you. It looks fine, it matches with the green. I just wanted to try another colorway. And if you stayed at the end of the film, you'll see that I have a couple more examples and different ways to do things. If you are watching me on YouTube and you want the project sheet, then you need to go to my website at stampmesilly.com under this date, which should be August 27th. And you'll be able to pull up the project sheet from there. If you have any questions, you can email me at jandufour@yahoo.com. If you don't have a demonstrator and you want a free catalog, you can email me there. Also, if you see anything that you would like to purchase, you can go to online store at jandufour.stampinup.net. We'll put that away for now. All right, so the pieces, parts that we need. First of all, we're using Knot 29 anymore. It's got some really cute sayings on it. And I did, although I didn't have a picture of it, it basically says happy birthday and then treat yourself because I didn't get you anything, which I thought was cute. Most of these are snarky, older but still cool. That's okay. But the rest of them are pretty funny. I don't know how I feel about you being 29, not 29 anymore. That's cute. All right. And then we used these dies, Spotlight on Nature, which I think is ironic in a way because this technique is called spotlighting. It's choosing something to bring forward. You can also leave it with the background in there. And of course I didn't do that because I used the next die cut size up. So in the project sheet, it'll tell you to use the third smallest and the next one larger. And that was there. And then we put some gems on it, which of course we try to always do. This one kind of stands up, the one, which is fine. You can mail it like that, but incidentally, I got a card in the mail the other day and the little gem like this had actually popped through the envelope. Never saw that before. I will say that the envelope was not a Stampin' Up! Envelope. They're thicker, so that might be the problem. But anyway, we're going to use a different gem today. So I'm going to put, well, I'll leave it up here so you can see it. I cut everything ahead of time because I know you know how to use your trimmer. And I have a few things I want to just mention, which will take a few minutes, but I just didn't want this video to be too long. So here's the sea change that I used. This is Bubble Bath. It's an A2 card, which is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then this is a card insert. This is light enough. I could have just stamped on it, but this cardstock is not as heavy as our thick white. It's great cardstock. It is thick, but not as thick as that. And when you put a lot of stuff on the front, it's kind of nice to have a little bit more in the back to give it a little bit of sturdiness. So this piece is 4 by 5 1/4, and we'll get that in there after I stamp on it. And then this is also, yes, also the same size, which is 4 by 5 1/4. This is a little bit smaller because it's a layer, and that layer makes it 3 3/4 by 5. And then if you're wondering how I get those kinds of things, if you go to my website, if you're on YouTube and look in freebies, there'll be card and envelope size. It'll print 4, I think, or maybe 5. I laminated it. You don't have to do that. I also highlighted my A2, but it gives you half sizes as well, which is kind of nice if you want just a very thin border. And then you don't have to think so much because thinking can be hard sometimes. I know this. All right, so we're going to start by putting some mono adhesive on the piece of Petunia Pop. I used this a couple weeks ago too, I think, and we're also using the same flower set or flower designer series paper called Flowers in Bloom. I kind of am into this routine of trying to do a couple of the same set, just so that you have other ideas of what can be done. Now, when you stamp this, make sure you're using the smaller piece or you'll have to cut it down, which that's okay too. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the circle. I'm going to put it on so pretty and then just lay it down. And then what I meant by being able to pick, let me grab some of the paper. Being able to pick any colors, this is beautiful paper, but you could highlight a leaf if you wanted to, or, you know, a big old sunflower, or any of these, you know, multiples that you can put on there, which is a great way to use up some of your paper when you have scraps, which is what I did from the scraps of last week. Okay, I'm going to put this on dimensionals, and I need to stamp both these two pieces. The smaller piece, I'm using a Misty. Stampin' Up! Got stopped making their Stamparatus, which is unfortunate because it was far superior than anything I've tried on the market. But this is all of these ones that I tried. I think I have a post on demonstrating several different brands. They all do what they say they're going to do. They all stamp position, and that's great. It's just that our Stamparatus had additional features that I truly, truly miss. And when I'm not stamping on camera, I use my Stamparatus. But anyway, there's also, if you can't afford $90 for a stamp positioner, if you go to my website, again, stampmesilly.com, you will find a cheap way to make a stamp positioner, and truly, 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 it works. I think it costs $10, probably because I had to buy, 4 cases. Let me quickly grab it so I can show you. Stamp case, so you can use an old one. I've got some magnetic plates on here. I've got a grid here just to test it. Go see the video. It's awesome, and truly it does work. It's a little rough if you're trying to get up in the corners, but really some of these don't work that well anyway in the corners. So go see how I made that. All right, so we're gonna stamp the happy birthday. And yes, I always practice on grid paper to make sure that my saying is lined up. Let's see. Ooh, is this the happy birthday one? Yes. Yep. All right, and I don't even really need that. We're using Petunia Pop. I don't use that very often. You have to kind of lay this flat in order for it to be able to not be bouncing all over the place. And then it I guess I could grease it. I don't know. Oops. Good example of why you want a stamp positioner. I didn't stamp the H very well. So I'm going to put it back in the corner where it belongs. I'm only going to put ink on the H because the rest of it is pretty dark, and I don't want it to be unevenly dark. So I'm just going to do this, and voila. I do have a caution when you use Blackberry Bliss or Cherry Cobbler. Give it a second to dry. It doesn't take very long, but it does take, it's not instantaneous the way our other colors are. I just came to mind because this isn't Blackberry Bliss, but it made me think of what I'm going to do next is Daring. One of the reasons I liked our Stamparatus is because you could actually flip it out and turn it around to use that, so I didn't have to reposition twice. Put that aside because now I'm going to do Treat Yourself. This is in the way, so I'll just do this, make sure it's up in the corner. And if I mess it up this time, I'll turn the paper over. This may bleed because I did clean it, but it's still, nope, nothing there. I cleaned it good enough. Yay. Problem solved. So I'm going to put this away. So here's our card. Now that it's stamped, we can put this, actually I think I'm going to glue this down first so I can press it everywhere. think I'm running out of glue. That happens when you stamp a lot. Although lately I have not been stamping a lot. I think I've mentioned in previous videos I've been traveling. I've been to Maine twice already so far. I'm going back in a couple weeks for a wedding. And that will be my third and final trip for Maine this year. Had a great time. Weather was hot, but not as hot as where I live, so that was good. Saw family and did all kinds of things. Then we made a side trip. Went to Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia. If you ever get the opportunity, most beautiful country. Just, you know, if you like the ocean and don't care if there's not a beach there, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And they have places that have beaches. We just didn't go there. All right, so this time I highlighted this one. I'm going to put it right about there. I think I've told you before, as long as you don't press down, you can actually pick those up, even though there are dimensionals have been set down. But I'm going to press it down. And then we're going to open it up and put treat yourself, because I didn't get you anything. Your card is the gift, right? They know you took the time to make it just for them. Unless you make 50 of these and give them to all your friends, then they know it wasn't specially just for them. All right, we'll get this set down. I'll close this up. Now we'll put a gem on it. I'm going to close this so I don't get that everywhere. A couple of the things I wanted to mention. Let me tell you, these are from the annual Starburst sequins. And these are flat, which is wonderful because they definitely don't cause any problems in the mail. Big or little? I'll do little. I'll do it right about here. This is too busy for me. Not maybe for you, but for me, it was too busy to put it up there. Some of the cards I made coming up, I'll show you. Changes, Stampin' Up, changes. First of all, if you've ordered lately, you already know about Stampin' Rewards, where instead of having to get orders for yourself and or other people to total $150 so you could get the $15 rewards. Now, as long as you place a $20 order before shipping and handling, you get 10% of that money back. So if you have $20, that's $2 credit. It'll be in your account. It doesn't matter who you order from. It will always be in your account. So you can use it the next time or save it, up to you. So that's a nice thing. I always enjoy opening it up, getting ready to order and go, oh, look, I got money that I can use. So there's that. That was a little bit older. Stampin' Up! Is having a hard time finding good red rubber to make their cling stamps. It's been difficult. There is higher cost now. And so they have decided to go to all stamps be photopolymer. So they'll all be like this. I don't mind that. I kind of like it because a lot of times I do just eyeball it. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other. The old photopolymer was not good. This stuff is good stuff. So in my mind, it stamps great. So that's not a problem. They're also going to be putting our stamps in a pocket, not this one, but in a similar pocket with an easier flap. It'll just slide into a slot. So stamps will be in here because they're photopolymer, they're much skinnier. You'll be able to store it much more easily. Also, they'll all be the same size, and dies are going to come in that as well. And on the dies, there will be a picture, which, did I make a picture of this one? Sometimes I do. I did not. But there'll be a picture so that you can look at the picture and say, oh, I'm missing 2 pieces or whatever. They will be in the same size. So if you wanted to, you could store them together and it wouldn't be awkward because they would be the same size. So that's another change. Also, with the advent of having Stampin' Blends and in them being so popular, and Stampin' Write markers are getting less popular, they've decided to discontinue making the markers, which are water-based. Now, there are very few things that you can't do even without the stamps, because The only thing that I would think of that people do regularly is mark right on the red rubber with the markers. But you can do that by using your stamp pad. And this one may or may not have it. No, it does not. Using your stamp pad, doing this, and then using one of the blender pens and putting that on there. So really, I don't think once you get used to the idea that you'll miss them that much. And that's a business decision. It's something that they need to continue to think, as does any big business, to consider. And then, is that the last thing I wanted to remember? Should have wrote it down, but I didn't. No markers. Stampin' blends are here. I think that's it. And if I forgot something, I'll let you know later. It's not going to happen immediately. They're going to be phasing out several things. If you go to the website, stampinup.com, it will list the different changes that are on there. Now, on to more pretties. So as you noticed here, I used DSP, which is a great way to get rid of the little bits and pieces that you have left. But you can also stamp, color, and then highlight, or just have it in black and white, whichever, and do the same thing, make a spotlight. And I think those look very nice. They're all very clean looking cards. When I say clean, I mean not busy. I don't believe that there is a butterfly in the universe that is this color, but that's what I wanted to do. So I did. I do that with birds too. Once in a while I'll look up a bird just because I want it to be accurate, but most of the time I just decide. Anyway, I really appreciate you coming to see my video. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notification. I only post once every 2 weeks, or actually twice a month. So I should say the second and fourth Wednesday of the month. I very rarely do anything else other than maybe send you a note about a flash sale, free shipping or something along those lines. So I would greatly appreciate your patronage. Doesn't cost you anything. And again, it's once every 2 weeks or so. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate you. Bye.